Alright, class, first off, as always, good day. I'm glad you're here. So, today we're going to finish off the slave trade. Okay, we're going to be talking about the triangle trade, which is again, that's the objective. We're going to analyze what Europe, Africa, and the New World got through the triangle trade. We're going to examine the importance of King Afonso. He's a particular king from a country in Africa. We're going to talk about what he did and, you know, why was that significant. And then we're going to create an argument on what was the worst thing about the slave trade. Because we're going to talk about a certain country in Africa that basically it's a ripple effect. They're still feeling the effects of what the slave trade has done to their country. Okay, so we're going to be looking at that today. All right, so here's your first question. The first one says basically, analyze this picture. Tell me what's going on here. You know, and then the second question says, what do you notice about the storage area from the bottom and where the people are? What do you notice about the two areas? Okay, so go through this picture, analyze it. You should notice it pretty easily. It should not be that hard to see the major differences between one storage area and another storage area. Okay, so pause the video, write your responses. Okay, because we're moving on in 3, 2, 1. So the triangle trade. This is trading that occurred between Europe, Africa, and the New World. Okay, now Europe doesn't necessarily mean just England. It's again France, it's Spain, it's Portugal, it's the Dutch, the Belgians, German, people like that. Okay, Africa again, not just one particular part of Africa, but different countries that participate in it. And for the New World, we're talking places like Brazil, the Caribbean islands, the Americas. So what did Europe get? Well, they got stuff like whale oil, lumber, which is wood, furs, rice, silk, indigo, tobacco, sugar, molasses, gold, ivory, and spices. All those things went to Europe. Now, really quickly, ivory. Some people don't know what ivory was in class. Ivory comes from the tusks of elephants. Okay, they used to kill elephants and take off their tusks, and then they would make things from that. Nowadays, it's very illegal to have that, and it's illegal to kill an elephant to get that tusks. But some people still do that to this day, and it's a crime that these people are doing that. Okay, now in the New World, they got slaves. They got manufactured goods, which is again like furniture, pots, pans, clocks, beds, furniture, things like that. Like again, dressers and end tables and things like that, and other luxuries. So like rings and clothing and nice clothing and things like that. Africa, what did they get? Well, rum, iron, gunpowder, tools, guns, clothes, and even beer. Yeah. Okay. Is that all they got? No, but this were the major things that they did get from the triangle trade. And again, you can see on the map where each thing came from. Okay. All right, so here's your next question. Who do you think got the most from the triangle trade? And I'm not talking like the most items or most things. I'm talking who do you think benefited the most from this? Was it Europe getting this ivory, gold, all this, things for the New World? Was it Africa getting tools and iron and things like that? Or was it the New World getting stuff like slaves and luxury goods and stuff like that? Which one do you think got the better of the deal? Okay, tell me who you think and why. All right. So then, and no, don't be putting. I think all of them got something out of it. No, don't do that. Do not do that. Pick one, stick with it, and justify it. Okay, don't be. I think one. I think all of them. Don't do that. Okay, don't do that. Pick one. Okay, write your responses. Pause the video because we're moving on in 3, 2, 1. All right, so here's the thing. Many of the slaves had been taken to the New World, not by white people. They didn't capture them, things like that. Don't get me wrong. Some did. Some, went into Africa and stuff like that and captured people, but not all of them. Not even a lot of them. A lot of them were captured and sold by rival African tribes. So some groups, they fought each other, and then what they would do was like, well, these people who we captured, these our rival, well, let's sell them to Portugal or Spain or France or Britain or the Dutch, because the way they saw it was like this: if they kept them, made them like their servants, what might those servants do? They might rebel, right? They might kill their masters in the middle of the night and things like that. It's a possibility. So if you were to get rid of them, not only does that threat go away, but also you get money. So, hey, win-win. Now, a lot of tribes did this. Okay, they fought each other, they got territory, new resources, things like that, and they made money from selling their rivals to the other countries who were getting in on the slave trade. But one guy individually basically saw the writing on the wall, and that was King Afonso. King Afonso was the ruler of the kingdom of Congo. Originally, the name was Congo, which I thought was pretty cool. You know, so he was the ruler of it, and he saw again the writing on the wall, and he's like, okay, let's say we take out all our rivals, all our enemies, and stuff like that. We conquer all this area. Those slavers are still going to want more slaves. So what can we do? We can give the prisoners, people who've committed crimes in our country. Yeah, we can sell them. Yeah, but they won't be satisfied with that. They want more. So who do we give? What do we do? Do we tell them no? And then what are they going to do? They're going to come after us, and then they'll make us. He's like, yeah, so this is going to depopulate our country really, really bad. So while under the rule of the Portuguese, he wrote a letter to the kings asking him, hey, dude, you really need to stop this slave trade because, just like I told you, all that stuff, there's only so many people, rivals we got. There's only so many people we can capture. We can't meet your quotas, and it's going to depopulate our country. So, yeah, can you, stop it, or at the very least, slow it down? Okay. Again, he was concerned. He saw the writing on the wall. And this didn't go well with the Portuguese king. The Portuguese king basically said, you know what? Who's this guy to tell me anything? You know what? Matter of fact, send more ships over and tell them we want them to be filled with people. So King Afonso's like, I can't, dude. I can't do that. You know. So what happened was the king of Portugal tried to kill him. They tried an assassination attempt, but it didn't work. And King Afonso was like, you really tried to kill me? And the Portuguese king goes, oh, yeah. Well, it's because I know you're hiding gold from me, so that's why I try to do it. Everybody and their mama knows that's not the truth. Everyone knows the real reason why. He's the first African king to basically say, you need to stop. Telling the European countries, stop the slave trade. It's depopulating us. It's hurting us as people. Okay, granted, King Afonso did sell people to the Portuguese. He did, but he's also saw the error in his way. Like, yeah, this no, no, we opened Pandora's box. We started giving them slaves, started doing all this bidding, and now we can't stop them. All right, so here's your next question. Do you think King Afonso, do you think he should be recognized as a hero or a villain in the history books? Again, he did capture people and sell them to the Portuguese. He was living large from selling people. But also at the same on the same side of the coin, on the opposite side of the coin, he also stepped up to the King of Portugal and told him, dude, you need to slow down with this or stop it completely because you're depopulating us. You're killing this country. And he's the first one to do that. So what do you think? And again, do not put, I think he should be both. No, no, pick one more than the other. Okay, do not put, I think both. Don't do that. One or the other. Hero or villain. Which one? Okay. So write your response because we're moving on in 3, 2, 1. All right. So the slave trade, it got really bad, and that cities were basically changed completely. Okay. One of the greatest examples was this country named Benin. Benin is in West Africa. Okay. It's basically where Africa comes up and around like that. It's like right there. It has access to the Atlantic Ocean and it goes up and into Africa. So there's a lot of neighboring countries that have it as its border. Before the slave trade, they were a brilliant group of people, very creative, society. They had religion, art, and culture, very, very sophisticated. Okay. Then came the slave trade. People from Portugal, Spain, Britain, France, Dutch came in, used that area to get slaves. Now, just like King Afonso predicted, it came true. The population declined. It was, country groups taking over another group and they would sell them, things like that. And it got to the point where people were looking around going, well, who's next? We have nobody, no other enemies. So they start forming their own little clans and groups, and they started fighting each other. Well, it's like, hey, well, I'm not being sold. You're being sold. I'm going to sell you. And, I'm going to make, it's not going to be me. I'm going to send you off. And they would attack each other and fight each other. The people in Benin basically lost their faith in their cult, in their religion, their culture, their art, their music, and things like that just stopped. Because again, that type of stuff is when you feel comfortable, you feel safe, you enjoy life. Is when you create art and music and things like that. Not when you're trying to survive and you're like looking around like, who's going to try to get me and try to sell me? I'm going to get them before they get me. That type of lifestyle, survival instincts, that takes precedence over, making new art or creating more music, new music. No, that's in the back burner. And the thing is, even human sacrifice became common. It was really, really bad. So when the slave trade finally ended, England decided to come and check it out in the late 1800s. They came in, they're like, hey, how you guys doing? And they just were like blown away because people were, again, killing each other, trying to, they were just so, hate to use the word, but it was almost barbaric. It's like this group they're killing these guys, they don't trust nobody, and they're, just just all about survival instincts. And so England's like, we'll let ourselves out. We'll go. Okay. And it wasn't for another, I don't know, like 40, 50 years or so that the people in Benin, some people started like thinking, like, how were we before? We weren't always like this, were we? And then look back at their history and realized, oh my God, we were brilliant people. We had a beautiful culture. How did this come to be? How did this happen? And they realized it was a slave trade. So because of the slave trade, the ripple effect is still felt to this day. This picture comes from 2018. It's from a travel guide type of thing, and they tell you right there in the green. They tell you you can visit, but still keep your hand on your wallet, things like that. There is a lot of crime and things like that. Just don't trust someone saying, "Hey, come down this dark alley." Don't do that. Don't do that. The orange section, it's like, okay, you can go there, but you may need to know how to take care of yourself. Do not trust anybody, things like that. Just, you can go, but just let you know, we warned you not to go there. So if something happens to you, it's not our fault. Okay? If you want to get a private security, we would recommend that. Okay? The red section, you see up on the very top, they're like, don't go there. We don't care if your baby falls out of a plane with the parachute and lands it right in the dead center. No, don't go there because your baby is more likely gone and you will be too. Do not go up there. It's that bad. Okay. And again, this is from 2018. Again, this country is barely getting on their feet. They're barely making it. Okay. So when you hear things on the news about, oh, this stuff is happening in Africa, some of that, don't ever think, oh, those people, they this and that, oh, they're always like that. No, they weren't. They weren't. Some places were, you know, they're still feeling the effects of slave towns and things like that, to where the people are still in clans and things like that. Okay. So here is your next question. Do you think countries that created slave towns have an obligation to help them recover from damages that were done 300 years ago? What do you think? Now, again, this was stuff that has happened 300 years ago. Slave trade ended about 150 some years ago. So they had like 150 some years, some places, to get back on their feet and things like that. So what do you think? Should they expect some help from other countries? Like, hey, you guys did this to us. You should be helping us. Or should it be like, no, you guys are on your own. You've been your own country for 150 years. You've been on. We haven't messed with you. You guys should be able to get on your feet on your own now. Especially after 150 years. What do you think? What do you personally believe? All right, so write your response. Okay, we'll pause the video because we're moving on in 3, 2, 1. Now, the exit ticket. The first question asks you, why do you think it was important for more African kings to be like King Alfonso? Why would that be important? For other kings from different countries to basically be like him and step up. Why would that be important? The other question is, do you think the slave trade was inevitable? Like, in other words, if it didn't happen in Africa, do you think it would have happened in Asia or Australia, the Middle East, the Americas with the natives, the Indians, What do you think? Do you think the slave trade, do you think it was inevitable? That was going to happen no matter what? So why do you think that? Yes or no, and explain. Okay, so Once you are done with this exit ticket question, you are done for this class. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something new. I really, really do. Okay? You guys, take care. You be safe, all right?